Happy Halloween. Leave now while you still can.
Leave now before Master finds you.
Who is that knocking at my door? Who is that knocking at my door? Who is that knocking at my door? Be gone with you.
Hello, I'm once again joined my friends for another movie review. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
Happy Halloween.
In today's video, we're going to be talking about The Omen from 1976. So what do you guys think of The Omen?
It's very good.
Oh, it is. I love The Omen. It's great soundtrack score, such great atmosphere, and great performances from Gregory Peck and Lee Romack, right? It's
Remick, I think.
Remick, okay. I'm not sure I said it right, but anyway.
And not just him, but David Warner's
Yes,
really good in
David
the movie, too.
absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love The Omen as well. I think it's a very effective horror film.
Absolutely.
It gets compared to The Exorcist a lot because they came out not that long after each other.
3 years apart.
Yeah, 3 years apart.
They also point this out as a little similar to Rosemary's Baby about the occult or switching babies at birth and.
Thank you, but I wasn't done making my point, John. My point is, it gets compared to The Exorcist a lot, but honestly, I do like The Exorcist better, if we're being honest. But still, The Omen is a great movie.
Right. It's tough. It's I go back and forth because I think they're both good in their own ways, Exorcist and The Omen. But that's just me.
Yeah, they're very different, I would say. But again, I'm just mentioning The Exorcist because again, they do. Because they came out 3 years apart and they're both dealing with the devil, they do get compared a lot.
Right. The film is about where you have a guy who he lost his baby at childbirth and stuff like that, and then he wanted, I guess he was just worried and afraid, what if his wife would not take the news very well about the baby dying at childbirth. That's why they switch.
Yeah, he adopts a baby in secret, basically, and tells his wife that, oh, this is our baby. And as the movie progresses, he eventually learns his child, who they named Damien, might literally be the son of Satan.
Right. That's another thing, too, I like about it, how, one day that he might grow up to be, because Thorne's a politician, and that may one day he grow up to, basically either, rule and destroy the world, that kind of stuff. Yeah,
it's this idea of the Antichrist rising from the world of politics, which I think is a very brilliant idea, honestly. If the devil did exist, and he wanted to destroy the earth, that's almost the best way to destroy the earth. Pose as a politician, rise up in the world of politics and eventually become president. And that's honestly the scariest thing about The Omen is sort of the political aspect of it.
Yeah. Plus, I feel the first couple minutes, it's a little bit melodrama where we just see them as a happy, regular family till all of a sudden after the birthday party when...
Look at me, Damien. It's all for you.
It was so messed up. That came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... Then eventually, a lot of other, crazy stuff happened, too, the Zeus... I want to point out about, the first time I remember, watching this, I remember, watching it as a kid, but at that time I didn't really think much about, what this movie was, and then when I was an adult, watching it, I'm oh my god, I did see this before. It's certain, scenes and parts, they stick out to me that I remember, the Zeus scene, or when... Thorne fights the nanny when he was trying to kill Damien.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. One thing I think is interesting, and you pointed this out before we started recording, is how Damien never actually physically kills anybody in the movie.
No.
And it's really the cult who builds around him who kills people, and possibly Satan as well.
Yes.
But I think it's interesting to almost analyze Damien as not really being evil, I like the idea that Damien almost does have the potential to be good, and it's this cult that's making sure Damien grows up to be evil. I think that's an interesting aspect of it, that what if Damien really is just innocent? He might be the son of the devil, but still, there's the potential that he could be raised differently, and I think that's an interesting angle to analyze the movie from.
Or he could be possessed Damien, possibly. But just without the exorcism, though. Also, I like, as we said, like David Warner's. I kind of like the friendship and the bond that he has with Gregory Peck's character's Thorn in the movie, when he's like trying to, prove to him about, that your son is the son of the devil and stuff like that. Yeah, and also that priest kid. The way he dies is just crazy.
Yeah.
Every time I watch that scene, it's like, you ever heard of like getting out of the way? But then again, that wouldn't make it scary if he didn't like dodge that.
He was probably just so shocked by it too that he probably just couldn't move at that point.
No.
Yeah.
And also, if we want to assume the devil is like controlling these events, maybe he just physically couldn't move.
It's possible. Yeah, good point there. Like that cemetery scene was so like crazy when they're like digging up the dead body of like Damien's mother who died at childbirth,
and then they see it's a fucking jackal.
Well,
And
that's
they also find the body of Gregory Peck's real son.
yeah. That's where like freaked me out. I'm like, holy shit! And only that, just like the thought of like seeing something like that, like just really can like you don't even want to imagine being in that kind of situation where see like that your real like son was just killed. I mean. Because I think he was like misinformed that his son died, but that's not the case. The son was killed.
Yeah. Because because he was a politician, this cult was specifically making sure this kid grows up in a political family and grows up in the world of politics.
Right.
Now, it's a really cool idea for a horror movie, actually.
It is. No, I think this. It's like you said, like between this, The Exorcist, it's like hard to like to define like which one I keep going back to that I like more often.
Yeah.
Also, what do you guys think of Jerry Goldsmith's score?
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a great score. My only issue with it is there are times where I think it's a little over the top or a little too bombastic for my taste. I prefer scores that are a little more minimalist, I would say.
Right.
Like, for me, like, and again, I know it's different scores, different movies, but I prefer the score to The Exorcist. I think that's a much better score. And I know it's not fair because that's done by a different musician and it's a whole different movie, but...
Well, like I said, for some reason, once in a while, when I'm listening to, like, movie soundtracks or horror soundtrack, this is, like, one I seem to always, like, come back to, but that's just me, it's...
Yeah.
I don't know, I just love, like, the opening, like, where Hail the Antichrist, it's just, I don't know, just something about it that I just, like, I'm, like, drawn to with, like, but then again, Jerry Goldsmith was a legend. He was just, great film composer. And this is like the only like film he won an Academy. I mean, not that I give a crap about the Oscars, but it's amazing. Like this film like won an Oscar for best score at that time. Yeah. Also, one thing I wanted like what do you think of Lee Romag as Catherine Thorne?
Not
That's
bad.
a good job.
Oh, she does. She's excellent, and you really like see like how like it's like taking a stress on her, like being a parent for like Damien and stuff, And when you think about it, she doesn't really find out that Damien is really, that's not her real son when you think about it. The part when Catherine falls off the balcony was scary and terrifying. She's lucky she didn't fall on the glass. That really would have killed her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course Gregory Peck is great as always.
Oh, yeah.
Very deep, commanding voice,
Yeah.
which I liked.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gregory Peck was a fantastic
Oh, he
actor.
was.
I also love, this is something I've noticed about so many of Gregory Peck's movies.
What's that?
Is like, whenever he's, like, pissed at a character, he talks to that character like a stern parent. Like,
Really?
Well, yeah, like when he tells the priest who's warning him about Damien, like, at some point he just says, "I never want to see you again." And
Oh,
just
yeah.
like he talks almost like a stern parent to, like, he acted similar to that in, like, Cape Fear, the original Cape Fear. He had that same, like, kind of stern way of talking to people.
I remember when I first saw it, I'm thinking, like, wow, Gregory Peck and all. It was kind of, because when I think of, like, Gregory Peck, I'm thinking about how, like, he was one of the, like, the old, like, classic actors from, like, the 50s and 60s. Roman Holiday, like you said, Cape Fear, To Kill a Mockingbird, which is a phenomenal film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gregory Peck, you were the man. The part where Mrs. Baylock kills Catherine, one of the scariest horror movie moments, and definitely makes my list of scary movie moments. Also, the score to this scene is fantastic and very scary and right on the money. As I said before in this video, as a little kid watching this, despite I had no idea what this movie was, I remember the part differently when Thorne kills Mrs. Baylock. I thought he killed his wife Catherine, preventing Thor from killing Damien. It's one of those Mandela effect moments, how I remember differently watching as a little kid compared to as an adult now. Yeah. Also, let's see, what else do I want to talk about? Let's see. Oh yeah, what do you think of like the ending to this film?
Oh, it's very effective.
Absolutely.
And very tragic as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's like one of those moments where, you know, like I remember you said this once, that even though he didn't really like want to kill, even though despite Damien was not his son, he didn't want to kill him, but at that time he just had no choice but to do it. But I actually read somewhere that supposedly there's like, I mean, I don't think they didn't shoot. There was supposed to be the original ending where he does kill Damien, but I'm not sure like why it never like came to shooting it that way for whatever reason.
Maybe they just decided to end it like that because it's a much more chilling ending.
True.
To think that the Antichrist got away.
And
the world will eventually end because this kid survives. You know, that's a much more creepy ending, I think.
I can agree on that one.
All that Harvey Stevens kid has to do is just look at the camera.
Yeah.
And that music playing, and that's a very creepy sight.
True. He also like has that like scene of like innocence, but then like there are moments where he's kind of, hate to say it, a brat at times. And
I met him years ago.
What was he like?
He was very nice.
Yeah. He didn't give you those creepy eyes.
No.
I'm just kidding. Did you ask him about like the making of the movie and stuff?
Yeah, I remember asking him about Gregory Peck, and I think he said he was very nice.
That's cool. Yeah. Also, like the way like the film ends, it's like I said before, like it's just a perfect ending. It's like, why did they have to make sequels to the Omen? And Christian, you've seen the Omen sequels, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy, have you seen them?
I saw the first sequel,
Okay.
Damien Omen 2.
What did you guys think of that one?
It's interesting. I like parts of it, but I also think there were a lot of missed opportunities in that one. Like, there's this whole thing in the second Omen movie where, like, I forgot exactly what happened, but, like, Damien starts to realize he's the Antichrist, and there's a part where, like, you see him, like, he's at a lake, and he just screams out, "Why me?" And I thought that was a really interesting angle, this idea that he doesn't want to be the Antichrist.
Right.
But then a few scenes later, he's completely embraced his role as the Antichrist, and I'm like, they just, like, it felt like something was cut out of the movie.
Okay.
Like, you know, at what point, like, did he just decide, you know what, I'm going to embrace this? And I thought it would have been more interesting if, like, most of the movie was about him trying to fight his true nature, and then by the end, something happens that gets him to turn completely.
What did you think of the second one? Or it's been a long time.
It's all right. You know, I met Lee Grant, and I told her I loved her death scene. And I remember her saying, "Oh, so you like my death scene? Oh, that says a lot about you."
And Lance Hendrickson's also in the sequel, too.
The second one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I met him, too. He's very nice.
Oh, yeah, I love Lance Hendrickson.
Yeah,
When I met him, I asked him about Omen, too.
What did he say?
Oh, he told me this really, like, this story about, like, because apparently the movie was shot at, according to him, it was shot at, like, some orphanage or something, and, like, he said he felt bad for, like, the kids at the orphanage because they were watching TV on this crappy, like, black and white television, and he apparently went out and bought an actual, like, color TV, which were a relatively new thing in the 70s, and got it for the kids at this orphanage, where the movie was apparently shot.
Yeah. I'll admit, I've never seen any of, like, the Omen sequels, or not even the 06 remake, and did you see Omen 3?
Yeah. That one's also good, but it also kind of suffers from, like, missed opportunities, I think. But Sam Neill's great as the adult Damien.
And what about Omen 4, The Awakening?
Oh, that one's pretty fucking bad. That one is, like, obnoxiously bad.
I've never seen it.
Okay, fair enough. And the 06 remake, guys, never saw that?
Nah, I never
Yeah,
saw
me
that
neither,
one.
so fuck the remake. Oh yeah, also I want to, like, cover, too, about the Omen. I don't know if you ever heard this story, how, like, this movie's considered, like, a cursed movie, like, right up there with, like, Exorcist, The Crow, Rosemary's Baby. Like, during the making of this movie, it had a lot of, like, fucked up production problems, and it's amazing how the film turned out just fine, like, the way it was. Like, I read that Gregory Peck, like, when they were making this film, he was supposed to get on, like, some plane, but I don't know where he was going. He ended up missing that plane for whatever reason, and that plane, like, got into, like, an accident and crashed. And I remember like Richard Donner saying that he had a lot of like weird, like crazy, moments that felt like they were like so hard to describe. Where it's like the devil was like sending him messages: "Don't make this movie. Don't make this movie."
Maybe it was God sending him those messages.
Who knows? And I know Shudder did a documentary about it, and it was very interesting. I highly recommend you go check that out. Also, the zoo scene, the person like who worked at the front, like who sold the tickets, he left the door open, and for some like unknown reason, like mysteriously, the lions got out somehow, and they got, like I said, he left the door open. The lions got in and ate him. Yeah, some pretty fucked up shit. It's like the devil did not want this film to be made.
Or God.
I could go either way.
Or maybe Buddha didn't want the movie made. Who knows?
I also forgot to mention this too, how like when Gregory Peck was offered this film, he was like unsure and hesitant if he wanted to make this film because at the time he had just gone through like so much tragedy. Like he felt like his career was like going downhill. He wasn't making that much like good films at that time, and his son, kind of crazy how his son died like before he did this film, and he's playing a character who's like in a tough dilemma spot when you think about it. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess Gregory Peck just could not say no to opportunities and doing more, and to see this was going to be like a career like resurgent for him at that time. Yeah. Any other thoughts about the film that come to mind you want to touch upon? Or
It's a great horror movie.
Yeah. Definitely one of my favorite soundtrack scores, and definitely probably also one of my favorite horror films back in the 70s. Alright, I guess that wraps it up. Like the video, subscribe to the notification bell to get the latest updates on my YouTube channel, and more good stuff coming. Say bye, guys.
Bye.